The mayor of Chicago has fired the city's top cop. Rahm Emanuel announced the resignation of Police Superintendent Garry McCarthy today. His departure comes a week after one of his police officers was charged with the murder of a black teenager. Dashcam video of the shooting shows Officer Jason Van Dyke firing 16 shots at Laquan McDonald. It took 1 year for Van Dyke to be charged and for the video to be made public. Critics of the way the city handled the case have accused the police and the mayor's office of attempting to cover up the shooting. Hundreds of activists have taken to the streets in the last week protesting McDonald's death. Their calls for McCarthy to step down have now been heard. Mayor Emanuel said the resignation was necessary for the city to move forward.
Superintendent Garry McCarthy has been an excellent leader of our police department over the past 4.5 years. His community policing strategy has led to the lowest overall crime rate on record, and his efforts to remove guns from the street have yielded significant progress. But Superintendent McCarthy knows that a police officer is only as effective as when he has the trust of those he serves. After this weekend, after effectively handling both the protests that followed the release of the McDonald video last week and the arrest of Tashawn's killer, Superintendent McCarthy and I began a discussion on Sunday about the direction of the department and the undeniable fact that the public trust in the leadership of the department has been shaken and eroded. This morning, I formally asked for his resignation. The superintendent, Garry's record at the Chicago Police Department is a strong one and one that he can be proud of. I'm grateful for his service to the city. He has both modernized the police department and brought real results for the people of the city of Chicago. But now is the time for fresh eyes and new leadership to confront the challenges the department and our community and our city are facing as we go forward. I've asked First Deputy John Escalante to serve as acting commissioner until the police board has conducted a thorough search. From body cameras to today's task force, to the new superintendent. This is not the end of the problem, but it is the beginning of the solution to the problem.
Adriana Diaz joins us by phone now from Chicago. Adriana, what do you make of the decision to fire Garry McCarthy?
Well, Elaine, pressure had been building for quite some time. Even back in October, the city's council, the Black Caucus for the City Council had called for Superintendent McCarthy's resignation for his ousting after another bloody weekend here in the city. But really, when the video was released showing that fatal shooting at the hands of a police officer in uniform, that was the last straw. Many, many more elected officials joined in that call this morning. The Chicago Sun-Times ran an editorial asking for McCarthy to step down, and if not, for the mayor to fire him. And that's what happened just hours after the newspaper hit the stands this morning.
Adriana, you talked about the criticism of the police department. The Laquan McDonald shooting was high profile, but hasn't the police department been criticized for the overall gun violence problem in the city?
The gun violence issue in the city is really out of control. If you look at the numbers from this year, they're up both in terms of shootings and homicides. 2,752 shootings this year, and that's more than 200 over last year, and 439 people have been killed by gunfire this year. That's 4 more people than last year, and the year, we still have a few weeks left here. The police department has come under fire over that, but they say that they're doing everything they can. They have been working on community policing and community partnerships, but what has angered protesters the most, it seems, is how the police department is handling the policing of themselves. This is not the first time that they've come under fire for accountability issues or not bringing a police officer to justice fast enough. There was a case of Dante Servin, who was an officer who, when he was off duty, shot into a crowd because he said that he felt threatened in a park, and one of those bullets killed a young woman. He was acquitted, and pressure mounted for McCarthy to fire fire him. Of course, he doesn't have the power to do so, but eventually he did recommend to the local board here to fire that police officer. But it took 3 years to take disciplinary action against that officer. It took 13 months for this video to be released in the case of Laquan McDonald and Officer Jason Van Dyke. But it's not just at the hands of the superintendent. There's the state attorney, Anita Alvarez, was overseeing that investigation, and she was the one who said that she was working with federal investigators and local investigators to comb through this case, and that it just happened to take that amount of time. So many offices here are being criticized for not acting swiftly enough, not being transparent enough.
All right, Adriana Diaz in Chicago for us. Adriana, thank you.